Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.
Today's episode of The Mike O'Mara Show is brought to you by our bonus packages. Please go to MikeO'MaraShow.com and click on the bonus banner. You'll get access to all of our bonus content, and even better, you'll be helping out TMOS. So please quit sucking, and we thank you.
Available on demand every day in iTunes and the Google Play Store, and around the world on MikeO'MaraShow.com. What more can we do for you? It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
Wide open Wednesday on the Mike O'Mara Show. We're going to take your calls in just a second. We have a change in cast members here where Oscar Santana, and by the way, a tremendous upgrade on the broadcast side of
Mike,
things.
I really applaud.
I don't want to take away.
Wow.
I don't want to take away. Hold on, Rob. Calm down. I don't want to take away from Oscar's incredible efforts that he puts behind the scenes with the business, but on a pure broadcasting level, as far as talent and and ability to speak the Queen's English, we have Sarah Fraser here from the Hey Frase podcast, and Sarah is going to be paneling with us today on the show. We welcome you again. It is a delight to have you. I think the conversation, Sarah, when Oscar came to me and said, "Listen." And by the way, Oscar's going to be working behind the scenes today. It's not because he's just blowing the day off. He's working on the Vegas situation.
Ooh.
So
well, Mike, I think both are partially true. I think he is blowing the day off, and that's okay. And it's fine. It's fine.
You be Oscar and coming to me and asking if he could, if we could bring Sarah Fraser in to a panel with us. This is this is how the conversation went when Oscar came to me, asked me about this.
Hey,
this
Mr.
change.
Mike. No,
Stop it now! Come on, cut it out. What are you doing?
He said,
please?
"Hey, Mike, I've got a meeting on Wednesday, and I was wondering if it would be okay if Sarah Fraser."
Yes. All right, there we go.
Easily
right.
replaceable.
Yeah,
oh my God! Wow, Oscar.
Well,
Mike, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Let's take some phone calls. This is what we do on Wednesday, Sarah. We actually have Wide Open Wednesday. And by the way, let me get your plugs in. It's Hey Frase, Frase on Instagram, Hey Frase on Twitter, and HeyFrase.com. You like that Hey Frase thing?
It's branding.
Man, oh man,
Branding,
you own that. That's the the branding.
No one else owns that. Yeah, you're right. I got it covered everywhere.
All right, we are doing the phones from Maine for the first time as I'm in the Great White North, and let's go to Silver Spring, Maryland, and say hi to David. Hi, David. You're on the Mike O'Mara Show. Good morning.
Hi, everybody. It's Dave Smoller. How are you this morning?
Hey, Dave.
Hi, David Smoller. You're a very big fan of the show. I know your name. How is life?
I love you, Mike. I have a question for you, but if Fraser is there, I just wanted you to know, Sarah, my favorite episode of your podcast is with Holly. It was just so wonderful. It was so great to hear. It's so real, the stories that she told. I had no idea what she was going through.
Oh, are you talking about the Fox 5 podcast, the Holly Morris episode?
Oh, the key card episode. What was it called? I still have my key card.
I still have a key card.
That
yes.
was a great podcast.
That's right, because I contribute at Fox 5 here in D.C. Yes.
Yes,
Thanks,
Sarah's a contributor, and she's also, if you didn't know, if you're radio people, former host of The Kane Show, former host of Sarah, Ty, and Mel on Q107, which I still call it Q107 after all these years. And you're still a contributor on Fox 5's Good Day DC.
Yes, correct.
Even though there's constant controversy over there.
Oh, yeah, she stirs it up, Mike.
I mean, my time may be limited, but for now, yes, still there.
Good.
Yeah.
Good for you. Let's, David, is there anything else you wanted, or what can we
Mike,
do for you?
I had a quick question. I need some advice from you.
All right.
My little boy, when we were at the Super Bowl party at Jimmy's, I showed you pictures of my boy. He's almost as old as little Michael.
Yes.
And my boy comes home with a new word each week, a new adverb, and he starts every sentence with the same word. And this week it's the word besides, and everything he says, he starts with the word besides. And the really funny thing was when you started doing the alarm for verbal crutches,
right.
The same week he came down, he started saying actually at the beginning.
Actually, my kid said actually. David, my kid said actually. Actually, Dad. Actually, that's it. Actually, and wasn't there a kid that was a viral video where
he was talking about riding? I think he was on a
actually.
ride. Actually, I think I'm going to ride this roller coaster, and actually, it's pretty scary.
How old is your son, David?
He was November 1st, 2013.
Okay, so
you've given us a word problem.
So that's like
how old is he, David?
He's about 4.5.
4.5, so
Okay.
very close in age. The vocabulary and the communication at this age, and my son will be 5 July 19th, the communicating and facial expressions and expressiveness is just in hyperdrive right now, and it is the greatest moment for child development. You watch these different little things, and we're up here, just the three of us up in Maine right now, so we're having a lot of quality time together, and it's one of the I hate
Oh, that's
saying
awesome,
this.
Mike.
I hate saying this because it's like I don't like doing it. This is one of the greatest times in my life. He is so special right now, and it's just I just can't tell you the communicating. He gets up here, and there's no preschool to go to.
Right.
He's got mommy at his beck and call. He's got all his Maine toy. He has a yard to play in, unlike Florida, where we live basically in a Cocoonville prison, and he's just happier than a pig in poop. He's going nuts with happiness, and he's a joy to be around right now.
You know, I can relate, Mike, because my boy is 15, and it's just the same.
David, thank you very much for the call. We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what time it is?
What time?
For all you investors out there, it's our Mo's stock tip of the day. We're going to have it earlier for you because we had the schedule all messed up today, so we do it. Mo from Woodbridge. Mohammed, we need your stock tip of the day, please.
Snap.
Wait, what?
So, like, is that Snapchat? SNAP?
Yeah, Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Snapchat. Thank
Get
you,
on
Mo.
it.
Thank
Get
you.
on it.
That's it. That is too special right there. It is Wide Open Wednesday. We're here with Sarah Fraser and for Oscar Santana. And we have Joel Rogers from Parker, Colorado.
Yay.
Joel,
Oh,
welcome.
wow.
Good to have you back on the show. How are you, my friend?
Good morning. It's nice to be back. Although I wish I had a hook like Mo. I don't have a word of the day. Do you want a trivia of the day, or do you just want to talk to my kids as I drop them off at school?
I would like to know where you are flying to next, Captain. Where are you flying to?
There is a large race at Indianapolis this weekend.
Yes,
And
the
I'm headed there
500,
next.
yes?
Yes,
So you're on a plane from Colorado to Indianapolis? That's where you're flying?
I am tomorrow, actually, just as a passenger. I'm not working. This is just a little mini vacation.
How's your health?
And then,
Are you not piloting anymore, or what's going on?
Oh no, it's I have days off. I got a week and a half
Okay,
off.
okay.
All right.
Where's the next? Like, weren't you flying
Gig.
to like Amsterdam on one of those big jets
Yeah,
or
the
something like that?
next one is London, Atlanta, and then Amsterdam. 6-day trip.
Wonderful.
Now,
Wonderful.
if he's lucky, he will run in. I know, Mike, you're headed out to the race to sing the song that Jim Neighbors used to sing.
No, that's not true, Rob. Of all the sporting events in the world, that's the one that Daddy doesn't go to because there might be a former Mrs. O'Mara there. So that's her event with her new husband. They go to the Indy 500. I think almost every year. That's when they go out there. So
Well, I hope they have a wonderful time.
I do too.
I'll say
I
hi
do
to
too.
him for you.
Thank you so much, Joel.
Wow.
I would appreciate that. Yes.
Oh, my God. That'd
and,
be hysterical.
Joel, what are your kids' names?
Isabel and Hannah, and it's their last week of school.
Isabel, Hannah, I hope you had a wonderful school year, and I hope you have an incredible summer. And just don't worry about your dad. Do whatever you want. That's
Yeah.
what I. That's a
Go
my
with your
suggestion
gut.
for you.
There you go.
Let's go to Henry from Springfield, Virginia, one of my favorite towns, home of the Mixing Bowl. Hi there, Henry. How are you?
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Henry.
Rob.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Henry.
I'm just calling from just another day at the post office. Just want to let y'all know I can't wait to listen to you guys again all day today. I'm delivering mail.
What do you do at the post office, Hank?
I'm a mailman, Rob.
Oh, he's a mailman, so I thought maybe
Oh,
we're going to get
okay.
this high-energy presentation when I'm dropping off a
I
package.
do have a question for you, Henry. So my mail guy comes every day and spends about 30 minutes watching the TV in my lobby before. And I just wonder, like, do you guys have breaks during the day? Like, is that his break? Is he trying to kill time? Is he stealing mail? I don't understand. But this happens every day.
Yeah, we get about 30 minutes break on the street and another 10 minutes. break on
Okay.
the street.
Okay, so maybe that's
So-
just his break and he's watching TV in our lobby. But he'll, like,
Nah,
sit down.
He's just trying to cool down because it's hot. So
Oh, all right. I'll bring him water. Okay.
Oh, Henry,
Yeah,
I would
give him
say in
my
my thanks. In my career, probably one of the best calls I've ever gotten. Thank you very much. Let's
Are
go
you going to journal
Eric.
about that?
Eric from Winchester, Virginia. Eric, you're on the Mike
God,
O'Mara
that was
Show.
great.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, Eric.
Hi, Mike. I just found out I might be vacationing in Saco, Maine this summer.
Come ahead.
Curious if I was curious where that is in relation to you.
Let me. Okay, my address is no. The Saco. I'm trying to think. Saco. Do you happen to know? Well, see, I'm asking you for information you probably can't give me. Saco is
Southern Maine, Mike.
Is it southern?
Yeah,
Is Saco near like Brunswick and Yarmouth and all that? Falmouth.
20
Yes.
20 minutes south of Portland, it looks like.
Yeah.
You know, Sarah's a Mainer. Did you know that, Eric? Did you know that she's from Maine? She's from Rangeley, Maine.
That's cool.
I know. It's beautiful up there, too.
Any suggestions for places to hit while I'm up there, Sarah or Mike?
Mike, where do you like to go? Well, Mike's further down, almost like down east.
I'm down east, which is really it's confusing for people that don't know because down east is technically up north. I am in northern Maine. I am. I'm 2 hours and 40 minutes northeast of Portland, Maine. So I'm way up here, but I'm on the edge of Acadia National Park. As a matter of fact, technically, it surrounds me up here, Acadia National Park.
Gorgeous.
So you have Cadillac Mountain, you have Schoodic, you have Thunderhole, you have these wonderful things. You have the Maine coast. What you want to do when you come to Maine is enjoy the chow, the fresh Maine lobster. It's like nowhere else in the world. It's the best lobster you'll ever have in your life. It's never changed. There's no argument about it. That's just a fact. And what I would do is explore. Anywhere you go that's new, I would just hit the road and go through coastal villages and little towns and explore and get out and do it. I would get out of southern Maine, to be honest with you, especially if you're coming up during the summer, because southern Maine, like the Kenny Bunkport, George H.W. Bush area, that is bat-ass crazy during the peak summer season. That really is. Well, you get out, you can get up and go wild. Get out in the wild areas. That's
Eric,
what I would do.
I'll tell you, make a day, go to the Old Port in Portland, and go, if you're into beer, go to Bissell Brothers Brewery. It is like the best beer that's being brewed in Maine, and it is amazing. They only let you buy so many cans. It is totally worth it.
Sarah, isn't Portland, the city of Portland per capita, supposed to have like the most restaurants per capita?
Yes.
I think something like that. Incredible like restaurant scene and great place to go. And my cousin lives there, so I should know these.
Becky's
things.
Diner. I think we went there 4 times in 3 days. It was that place is unreal.
Yeah, it is really good.
It's wonderful. Enjoy your time. Please don't visit. Let's go to Preston from Red Lion, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania towns.
Yeah.
We never get tired of the
Red
Lion, Pennsylvania. Hello.
Good morning, TMOS. Happy WOW.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Morning.
Boring.
Literally.
Yeah.
I just got done taking a quick shower just in time for your sign-on. So.
Did you just tell me you took a shower?
Okay, I love
A
that.
quick shower.
Are you a bar soap guy, sir, or do you use body wash? Can you walk us through your process?
See, I didn't want that. I wanted the opposite. I didn't want to go details. I didn't like the whole shower thing. To start, define a quick shower. What is what is the amount of time you spend in the shower?
Pretty much about 10, 15 minutes.
Thank you. Good call. We appreciate it. All right, that's good.
Definitely
that's
a body
we got
wash
the
guy.
Information. We did that.
I don't consider that quick. That's like fast. That's like
By
long.
the way, up in Maine, the shower I have up here is not the floor. The Florida shower is the greatest thing in the world. The shower up here I had put in the last time I was here, and it's kind of a prefab little deal. But, it's not the same kind of shower I had before I replaced it, where I looked like, my ass was in a drink glass, where it was that small, But I will say today, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed lingering longer. Probably a half an hour. I was probably in there for a half an hour.
Did it have
which is a really long time.
Does it have a glass door?
It does.
Does it look like Augustus Gloop going up the tube in Willy Wonka?
You mean the old one?
Yeah, the
old
original one.
Yeah, the old one. You've seen the shower. You've seen these. Go to Home Depot.
Oh, I
You'll
know,
see what
I
I'm
know.
talking about.
They come in a box.
The one it had was out of a box in the corner. I don't know what kind of crack pipe this guy was smoking when he built this house. We have this bathroom that is the size of a football. I'm not exaggerating. It's got stairs that go to this jerry-rigged hot tub that he put inside one of the dormers, and then in the corner of this vast floor of tile was this 6 square inch shower in the corner that was just hanging on by a thread, and it just wasn't it. And I fixed that last year.
This sounds like Maine. Yeah, that sounds like Maine architecture.
It's kind of Maine architecture. It's kind of jerry rigged. You have it there, and when they put it in, the guy calls me upstairs. He said, "Michael, come up here." And I walk over and I look. He said, "Put your foot on that tile right there." I put my foot there. He said, "See how that's kind of spongy?" He said, "Look, I lifted one up over here. Look at that. The whole floor was completely rotted out." We don't know if it came from a pipe leaking, whether it was a slow leak from the shower that was there. But I remember believing, this was last year, that every time I jumped in that 2 square inch shower, there was every possibility that I could have gone straight, like Augustus Gloop. I could have gone straight down to the second, to the first floor. And but it's great, and so it was in there. I lingered longer too.
I love that he used the word spongy. That couldn't have instilled confidence.
It's spongy. It's real spongy right now. Now the one I got was kind of also a prefab thing, but it was a prefab thing that you had to do a little carpentry around.
Sure.
So now I'm very happy to have that up there, and I realized that was just the most boring story that I've ever told.
No, I love it. And you know what? You
that
cheated
represents
death.
Maine. Yeah.
You know what? Let's take a break, and when we come back, I want to liven the show up and have something more stimulating. We'll talk about Sarah Fraser's racial controversy when we come back on the Mike O'Mara Show.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show. You can listen to the Mike O'Mara Show at www.mikeomarashow.com.
Stay tuned for an outstanding entertainment program.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
Let's get down to business.
From the entertainment capital of the world.
How's your parents? Good. They're driving to Florida right now.
Oh, Florida, huh? Just make sure you tell them to watch out for Florida, man.
What's Florida, man?
Florida, man, is responsible for a large percentage of abnormal incidents that occur in Florida. Think of him as a alt-right Johnny Appleseed. No one knows his true identity, date of birth, what he looks like. That's why headlines always say Florida Man. Florida Man bursts into ex's delivery room and fights new boyfriend as she's giving birth. Florida Man steals a car, goes to Checkers. Florida Man beats a flamingo to death. Florida Man found eating another man's face.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, it's true.
No.
Him, the state government, cahoots.
Why would anyone even do that?
To prevent black people from coming to and or registering to vote in Florida, Ern. Come on.
Of course.
Yeah.
Look. You want to turn the music back on?
Yeah, sure.
This is Wade Byard, the Public Information Officer for Loudoun County Public Schools. The Mike O'Mara Show has decided to start now. Please make all necessary arrangements to listen. This is the Mike O'Mara Show with Mike O'Mara, Rob Spiewak, and Oscar Santana. And now, without further delay, here's Mike O'Mara.
We are live from the heart of our nation's capital in the Podcast Village studios. This is the Mike O'Mara Show, a worldwide radio show and podcast with the greatest listeners in the world. If you're here, you're in the know. You can listen 24/7 on our new Play-A-Pod app with time-coded bookmarks, great media controls, customized settings, and a sleep timer. That's the one. A sleep timer, plus the ability to call the show anytime, anywhere. Download it now on iTunes or at the Google Play Store. All items for our weekly mailbag can be sent to Rob with 2 B's at MikeO'MaraShow.com. And you can call the show anytime, anywhere, 888-920-MORE. That's 888-920-6673. The Mike O'Mara Show is on now and brought to you by Little Bits. Little bit. The greatest toy in the world is here. We showed you a couple of weeks ago this wonderful toy. It's Little Bits. We've all received these. There's the sound of Little Bits. Little robot.
Yeah.
Robot.
Oh, my God, Rob's face.
It's the Little Bits Complete Droid Kit, and it's the coolest thing ever. The kit comes with 6 bits, 20 droid parts. You put it together yourself, 3 sticker sheets, and a free app. You can control this wonderful robot from your phone. It has step-by-step assembly instructions. I like to call this, it's kind of like Legos on steroids,
exactly.
The way it works.
Mm-hmm.
It's got video tutorials. Setup is easy. I did it with my 4.5-year-old. Your completed droid features drive mode. You can drive the thing around your living room. Force mode. I haven't tried force mode yet.
Robert loves force mode. He makes it look like
what is force mode?
Yeah, what's force mode?
You hold your hand up,
okay,
and it appears to control it. It's pretty damn cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's got self-nav, 20 authentic droid sounds from Star Wars films that Rob was just playing before. Plus, you can reconfigure your kit in different ways to create brand new droids. The app features over 20 missions to teach your droid new skills. Meanwhile, your kids are learning to assemble and control electronics with codes and missions. Our kids love it because they built it and they control it. That's why they love Little Bits. Visit littlebits.com/TMOS for $10 off a droid inventor kit. Get the Toy Association's 2018 Toy of the Year for your kids and inspire invention. Littlebits.com/TMOS for $10 off a droid inventor kit. And remember to enter TMOS at checkout. Now, Oscar is taking care of biz for our Las Vegas enterprise. We are very, very excited about that. And, a lot of stuff has to be done. There are a lot of moving parts, a lot of dots and crosses that we have to deal with. So he's doing that today. And we are joined by Sarah Fraser from the Hey Frase podcast. A delight to have you in once again.
Oh, my gosh.
How are you enjoying your time in the podcast village? You do your show from here. You're digging it, right?
This studio, seriously, is the best I have seen. I'm not even, blowing smoke up your... Oh, yeah. We can't swear, right? I always forget.
We can bleep. We can bleep if need be. If you lose yourself.
This is... This studio is so amazing. I cannot believe... Because Oscar and I kind of knew each other, obviously, through the radio business,
Right.
But we only really sort of, reconnected 6 or 8 months ago. This place is amazing, Mike. What you guys have built here is unbelievable. I've loved every second. I can't believe I didn't do it sooner. It's another level.
The podcast, if you want to check Sarah out, it's Hey Frase. That's the podcast, and it's really, really a lot of fun.
Great show.
Sarah's been doing this a very, very long time, and
God.
I can't imagine how thick your skin is working in the radio business with a bunch of stinky male DJs your whole career. But you're also on Channel 5 with a bunch of stinky anchors. They do that too.
Right? It's anywhere in the media business. You just eventually get tough, and you try not to take it personally, although sometimes it's tough.
Well, we talked before the show because the last time you were on,
yes.
and maybe it's because I'm all the way down in different parts of the world, and I'm not in the D.C. market on a regular basis. But you had a situation where a couple of people reached out and said, "How come you didn't ask Sarah about the controversy with the kid that got into 20 colleges?" Where there was everybody who goes through something like this, it's kind of an education, but
yes, it is.
Controversy in media it can be terrifying. And let me tell you why it can be terrifying, because something can happen that you're completely unaware of, and suddenly it becomes viral, and we love to have villains in this world, and we love to see people saying something that might have been inappropriate or saying something that was wrong and just jumping on it, and it can be misunderstood. Sometimes it's legit, sometimes it's not legit. You ran point on this kid that got into 20 colleges. He was an African-American student, and you were on Channel 5 talking about this, and it kind of exploded into a massive controversy. And I read an awful lot about this after the fact. In fact, it was after you came on the show.
Right.
And I remember coming away from reading all the material on this and going, wow. I mean, was this kind of something that was a mistake, the way it was handled? Probably, but at the same time, there was no malice, and it just exploded into a controversy where you were talking about a kid that got into 20 colleges,
right?
And talking about, and just in a flip way, it was said, oh, that's kind of obnoxious, and suddenly the racial component came into it,
right.
And if I'm mischaracterizing this, feel free to jump in.
No, you're setting it up right. That's exactly what happened.
And then that came in, and then after the fact, it was like, well, this kid comes from a rough background. It was an amazing achievement that he was able to do this,
right.
And it became a racial thing. And of course, in our society, it's a very, very delicate subject with the world we live in right now.
The world.
Where there is so much racial tension, and there are so many moments of injustice and statements that are made, and a lot of it legit. This was one where I looked at all the info on this, and it was a really, really weird circumstance the way it happened with you and Holly on Channel 5, and the way you handled this, and basically saying this kid that got into 20 schools, boy, that's a little obnoxious. That's the gist of it. And then people got upset because he was African-American and he had come from this background. And what I appreciated about the way you handled it is you immediately recognized the sensitivity of the situation, even though there wasn't tremendous guilt on your part of you weren't in any way saying this kid was obnoxious because he was black. You were saying it was obnoxious to get into 20 schools and doing it in kind of a lighthearted way. But you had it, you hit it head on, and you expressed yourself and said you apologized, and it was a big deal, and that had to be a very, very difficult. I've never gone through it quite that bad. I've been sued for a hell of a lot of money. Don and I used to get sued all the time.
Really? That's scarier.
We'd have controversies, but in this day and age, you just, I'm sure you spent a few sleepless nights wondering, how long are the legs going to be on this situation, and what's going to go. And did I leave anything out about you're on Channel 5 with Holly Morris? You do a last minute bit. Allison Seymour, where Allison, who's wonderful, and Holly's wonderful, and you're great on the show, and you're just trying to have material, and this was last minute, right? This was a last minute piece of material that came in,
right? So the only thing you're missing. So for people who don't know, I mean, I'm sure everyone knows because, like you said, like after I appeared on your show the first time, we got Facebook messages. Rob did, and this kid is Michael Brown. He's from Texas. His mom, single parent, and he applied to 20 colleges, many of them Ivy League, got full rides to all of them. And like you were saying, Mike, so I've been a longtime contributor at Fox. Every Tuesday, I used to do this segment called Tuesday Talkers. And what I was telling you guys is the irony of this whole thing, and this probably happened like a month and a half ago. The day that we did that story, they'd actually canceled Tuesday Talkers because it wasn't getting enough debate. It wasn't generating enough talk online. And they fixed that. The whole idea was they wanted topics that sparked debate, right? And it just wasn't happening. So we're 10 minutes from showtime. We had no topics. I'm sitting there with the producer. Holly comes over. She pitches a couple stories, and one of them happens to be about Michael Brown. How many colleges is too many to apply to? We go upstairs. I don't even think to this day, at the time, I don't think Allison had even read the story because you guys know in the media business, you do 100 stories a day.
Right.
Lots of times with these opinion things, you're off the cuff, right? No one's producing for you like the script. So they're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get this done, blah, blah, blah. So we go up.
You're filling time is what you're doing.
Filling time. Exactly. So of course I go up on set. I'm setting the story up. I'm like, all right, guys, do you think it's ridiculous that this kid is, applying to 20 schools? Is this obnoxious? Oh my God. Like the worst 2 word choices you could ever pick. Holly goes, yes, I do. I think it's ridiculous, obnoxious. Allison chimes in. She goes, I'm encouraging my kids not to. Anyway, we do the story. We move on. A couple days later, I'm getting all these messages like, that was really racist. Like, how could you guys do this? I'm unfollowing you. So immediately I start looking at the conversations and I'm like, oh, I see. What it looked like is 2 white privileged women going after this young black kid who's trying to make a better life for himself, even though that was not the discussion or the prep. That was never what we were setting out to do.
You were never discussing it. This is what the important thing I want to get. You were never discussing it through a racial lens, which would have been horrible. You were talking about a kid. The subject was basically kids applying to multiple schools and and freezing other kids out that might have an opportunity to get in there. But that wasn't even the case. You were just you were riffing, right? How did it come about?
That was it. It was basically like, hey, how many schools is too many schools? And the thing is like, okay, that topic would have been fine if we didn't just use Michael as an example. The problem was we only bring up Michael's video. Well, there's tons of kids, and many of them have come out since Michael. They've applied to 35 schools and gotten into them. If we'd used several different stories, it wouldn't have been about Michael. But the minute it was like obnoxious, it starts becoming about him, and then people basically took it as as like, how could you guys do this? You know, like.
Did it hit you like a bolt of lightning when, as soon as
it was
realized
crazy.
that, oh my God, and kind of did you hit yourself and go, oh God, what a stupid thing to do? And,
So dumb.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, if I had been running the station, I would have gone on the next day or the day after. I would have done like an hour takeover, let people call in, let people air their frustration, apologize. But that wasn't my call. All I could do was control my own show, my own self. And I found Michael on Twitter. I apologized immediately. We shouldn't have done this story about him, period. We could ask like, hey, is it crazy that all these kids now are applying to all these schools? And then but at the end of the day, it's like, I think people really thought that I guess it's like this was such an opinion piece. I was like, I don't care if kids want to apply to 50 schools. Like, apply to as many schools as you want. It's just, this was literally, like you guys were saying, filling time.
And when the dust up happened, what I saw online was a lot of people piggybacking onto other people's opinions, and that's when it escalates. Because they get further away from the actual source. It's like, and I love when they start a piece with, well, I didn't actually see it, but... And I have an opinion, right? Well, why do you have an opinion if you didn't see it? You can't do that.
And it went everywhere. Huffington Post, USA Today, Occupy Democrats. So it lasted for like 2 weeks. It was just like, I would just feel like, okay, I think, and even after, the hardest part was we're in this bizarre place too, where most people were very grateful for the apology I did. And I did a podcast show and had like Joe Madison, who's been a longtime activist. His daughter came on and kind of talked about why this struck such a nerve.
It was a great episode. It
and
was
where
really
the black
great.
community. Yeah, it was really great.
You grabbed it. I mean, you grabbed it and absolutely, because and I'll tell you, it's just been my experience as an observer of media that you were not doing this in a CYA mode nearly as much as you were doing this because you realized that this was something, if it had been malicious, that would go against your own sensibilities on every possible level.
Yes.
And that's what I tell you, I related to it because if that is something like that, and God knows when you're doing live comedy radio every day, you're going to say something. I would have done it for the same reason, because I would have not only said, oh, I can completely understand why this was taken the way it was taken, but using it as kind of a learning experience at the same time as to, and if more people behaved like that, I think we would be in a better situation.
Yes.
But we're in this culture now of apologizing is weakness. It's almost a corporate mentality where we don't apologize.
Where do you suppose that comes from, Mike?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, God. It's craziness.
Here's the thing. Michael and his mom were genuinely, they called the station. They were genuinely, it was never about race for them. It was about, hey, Michael's worked really hard. Why are you all debating his accolades? And like, bottom line, if someone is, you know this, Mike, you've been doing it for years. We all do shows and bits in fun and funny and kind of off color sometimes, but never with the intention to like really hurt someone, So when I heard that he called, I was like, okay, absolutely. If he's upset, like I want to talk to him and apologize. And we've messaged since. He's going to Stanford, full ride. I talked to his mom, she was really sweet, very forgiving. And they that was it for them. It was just like, hey, this kid comes from nothing and really has done something incredible. Why are you guys debating that? And I was like, absolutely. It was never about you. Never meant to be personal. But I see how it went there.
Was the discussion ever involving these slots that are because if a kid applies to 20 schools and gets accepted by 20 schools, that's not necessary as long as he picks one. I mean, it's once he frees the other ones up, that's a slot for somebody else, and the pecking order works like that. I'm not even sure. As someone who struggled to get into Marist College on a Crew scholarship, I'm sitting there, and then I had to transfer into American University. But it doesn't. The whole premise was kind of nonsensical anyway, right? Because does it really matter how many schools somebody applies to? Or I'm sure you've educated yourself on the matter a little bit, right?
Yeah. And you know what? The other fascinating thing, which didn't take place when I applied to colleges, was now a lot of these kids just go to a website. They pay a flat fee. They upload their like resume, their GPA, their test scores, and then they just click all the schools that they want to apply to. So it's super easy. It's not like individually writing essays per school. And that's what Michael did. I mean, look. The bottom line was this was such a poorly planned story. We never should have done it. It was ignorant as hell. It was
fine.
just stupid.
I like that.
So
I mean, it was craziness, and I'm glad you reached out to him with that. And Stanford. Every time I watch the Golf Channel, I look at my little 4.5-year-old, and I go, Stanford, full ride golf scholarship. My fantasy, my parental fantasy. Yes, going out to I literally. Isn't it horrible though? How I think like this?
No, I'm the same way. I look at Robert and I say, the military might be right for you.
Okay, we'll take a break. Let's get to the military. Robert, you're going to be on a submarine.
That's right. This is my son, Corporal Spiewak.
Sorry about that. No, submarine is maybe a minesweeper. We'll take a break, and we'll come back with more fun on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Oh, this is Paulie from Brooklyn.
Hey, Paulie.
And I swore a blood oath to the Mike O'Mara bonus show. Now, I've been hearing things that a bunch of you galvones don't subscribe. So listen to me very carefully. Don't be a stunad and subscribe today. And I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse if you don't. Gabish? Forget about it.
Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. Thanks, Paulie. This segment of the program brought to you by Yoko CO. Here's a heavy concept. Do you ever wonder when you're going to die?
Oh, what just happened?
That's just my modem and router precariously placed on top of my entire audio chain here in the studio. It's a miracle we are still with you.
It's a miracle you didn't die, just like the copy.
Anyway, hopefully it'll be years from now. We wish. Decades even, but it might not be. It could be next week. Could be an hour from now, based on the way. Between the power failure and this, welcome to Maine. Hello. Well, hello. Yeah. Could be tomorrow. The point is, you don't want to waste precious hours of your life doing paperwork or sitting in traffic or, God forbid, trying to update your organization's website. Well, at Yoko CO, they can help you with the last one. They know how to build websites that get results, and they love doing it. So don't spend your final hours trying to update your homepage. Let them spend their final hours updating your homepage. And if they die in the process, say la vie.
It happens.
So what? They can die the way you always wanted. By riding a jet ski over a waterfall. Or you can die.
Anyone
then you
can die.
Yeah. You can die. I'm sorry. Something crashed in here.
So you have some trouble with your router.
That's YOKOCO.com/TMOS. And the first 10 organizations that reach out will receive a free website consultation and performance report. That's YOKOCO.com/TMOS. Sorry, Chris, it was the distraction.
You can click the button on our website. It'll take you right there.
I love that Maine accent, Mike. That is so good.
Oh, God,
thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. It's lovely to be up here. And, we're having my lobsterman buddy over for dinner tonight.
We had a lot of fun. Yesterday, you had to go into town to get a cable for your computer. And we just kept saying, going into town.
Going into town. That's what we're doing.
How far was that? It was probably a good 2-hour drive. Where'd you have to go? Into Bangor?
20 minutes into Ellsworth. 20 minutes into Ellsworth.
All right, Ellsworth. All right, Ellsworth coming up.
No problem at all. And,
all right.
So I said to my lobsterman buddy, who's, by the way, we're using his truck this summer.
Oh, yeah, and I have a question.
That's our wheels up there.
I have a question about that. I think it's important that before we get too much further into your Maine excursion this summer, you name the truck.
Good idea, actually.
That has been a subject at the dinner table. It has not been named yet. I will inform you when we have come up with a name.
Gotta name it.
One was rejected yesterday. I wanted to call it Betsy.
Oh, Betsy.
It's got to be a female name, yeah.
Betsy was rejected. We're not sure what we're going to call it, but I'll let you know. Right now, I'm not sure, but it does. It's a truck. It's a beater truck. Yeah. It does have to have a name. And I have a love-hate relationship already with the truck because I love being in the truck up here because everybody has a pickup truck up here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are certain diminishing radius curves that I traverse that make me a little nervous and think that I'm going to take it off the road with my entire family.
Don't take it at top speed.
No, there's no top speed in this thing. It's got big old snow tires on it. It's his plow truck. That's what I'm using.
Is it really?
Yeah, wow. It's a 2003 GMC with 150,000 miles on it.
Damn.
Wow.
I'm surprised that's still running.
Yeah. Yeah, how far the mighty have fallen. Yeah,
Wow.
yes, yeah, it's my life. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, you've had a lot of great cars, and this is just one among them.
Yeah, moving right down the line there. No, we didn't want to get it's about travel. It's about shipping cars, which I find obnoxiously expensive.
Yes.
It's about having a car that you're not going to use. It's a lot of stuff. And suddenly Zach says to me, he says, well, why don't you borrow one of mine? I got 4 of them. He does. He's got four trucks up here. He's got, he's a Maine working guy, and he's got a lot of trucks, some in various stages of disrepair, but this one's his plow truck. And I said, well, why not? Might as well. And then it got more and more serious. Yesterday, he put us on his insurance. We're locked in. We're going to do it.
Well, you're like Mike. You're like a 16-year-old.
We're locked in. Yeah, I'm on his insurance. We're locked into this. So that's I don't see myself getting another car. I see myself driving his truck and then getting on a plane and flying back down to where I have my car.
That's
you
a good
really
system.
are going backwards.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Now, is
By
your
the way,
car going to sit unattended for 4 months?
Don't worry about it, Rob. It's going to be fine, okay? We've
don't
got people
know.
down there. People are going to drive in. I know Pony's like going, oh, terrible problems for the man with 2 homes.
I think
Don't
that's
say that
lovely.
again, please, for Christ's sake.
He was ready to
have
pipe
that.
in, though.
All right. For our I apologize again, but here we go again. For our DC listeners, this is, and for somebody who is this was the team I adopted when I moved to Washington, D.C. Over 30 years ago. I will say it doesn't get any bigger in DC sports than it's going to get tonight with the Game 7 in the NHL playoffs. This is such a big deal for me because I have rooted for this team. So many transplants come to Washington, D.C., and they're Cubs fans, or they're Boston Bruins fans, or they're Cleveland Cavaliers fans. We all come from different areas. This was the team that I adopted when I came to Washington, D.C. This was the team that not only did I follow, I was a season ticket holder. I became friends. I became friends with some of their legendary players. Rod Langway became a dear, dear friend of mine, and Ivan LeBray, another friend. These are the old guys that used to play, but I have followed this team. I know Craig Laughlin, one of the broadcasters, is a good buddy. This is a big, 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 big deal, and tonight it's Game 7 against Tampa, down in Tampa, and I just want to say I am preparing myself for the worst, but hoping for the best.
May I ask a question? Since you are the super fan, you are the expert on our show.
Yes, sir. Yes.
How much is the home ice advantage going to work against them? Because they have played well on the road in this series.
I don't know. I can't answer that because, now you've had both teams that have one on the road and one at home. So you're not sure what's going to happen, but it's just so exciting. And is it I see people say, oh man, I get so stressed out I can't even enjoy myself. No, the stress is the fun part. If you're that emotionally invested in it, that's what makes it fun. And I know for people here, you guys know better than I do. The city's got to be pretty ramped up about this.
They like having the possibility of a win because we don't get it very often.
But do you think the city is really? I feel like that's the thing. Is I think the city should be more excited. I mean, I feel like you see a couple of like all caps signs here and there, but like I feel like. I don't know. I want people to be like rocking the red more.
The media is playing it up. I mean, they love it on the local news. They're loving it on the local news.
True.
And so, I mean,
but I understand Sarah's point. You drive into Tampa, and you will see high rises with Go Bolts on the side of the high rises.
I feel like you don't get that here.
Well, we don't do that in DC. We're a little too cool for all that.
Well, that's crap.
Yeah, I know it is crap.
Get out, get your red out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I watched the Golden Knights pregame, and that's
the one that Oscar loves.
Glitzy, obnoxious. That is, but we don't do that in DC.
No.
We have the 2 guys from the military come out, hit their little. Can you see? I mean, it's very traditional. That's the way it is. But people.
Hey, we got a T-shirt cannon.
Wow.
Hey, we have to find that cow to win a chicken sandwich.
Yeah,
we got a lot of good stuff going on.
Well, I'll be drinking a few smiling Irish bastards. So you do?
I do. I think they're going to win. I mean, I think they have it all, except for Tampa's goalie is like ridiculous. I mean, that dude is like unbelievable. But
Vasily, whatever his name is.
I actually have a good vibe. I really do.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens.
I hope so.
I'm all in up here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go, Caps! I will be texting with my friend Fried, who and I also told Fried that in the event that it's a conference final, there's an outside chance that I might be on a plane. I might. I'm
really?
not sure. Well, just because it's such a big deal.
It is.
Like to be there. It's fun. It's tonight.
And if they need you, will you suit up?
Yes, I will. I will suit up and gathering speed will hop on the ice. It should be fun.
Oh, that'd be great.
Sarah, I have to ask you a question. Are you
Yes.
watching? We're up on a break.
Yeah, let's do
not?
break and then we can come
I'm sorry,
back.
we are up on a break. Are you watching The Handmaid's Tale on Netflix? Have you watched that show?
I have watched a couple of episodes, but I'm not in love with the show.
Okay, all right. Then we will come back and talk about something else.
Right,
Are you watching Killing Eve? Are you watching Killing Eve?
Yes, I can go all day on that.
All right, Killing Eve. I love talking about television because that's all I do. We'll take a break and we'll come back with more fun and more thrills on the Mike O'Mara Show.
What I feel. You asked, and we listened. Now you can listen on Spotify. In our never-ending effort to make it easier for you to access our content, The Mike O'Mara Show can now be streamed on Spotify. Just another platform that gives you full TMOS access. So go grab the show and listen, and spread the word. The more you know, the more we grow. TMOS on Spotify. Grab it.
Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show, brought to you by Stamps.com. Nowadays, you get everything on demand: TV, car, rides, food, even our podcast. You listen to us whenever it's convenient for you. So why are you still going to the post office when you can get postage on demand with Stamps.com? With Stamps.com, you can do everything you do at the post office right from your desk 24/7 when it's convenient for you. Buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter or package using your own computer and printer, and your mailman picks it up. It's that easy. No lines, no parking hassles, just click, print, mail, and you're done. It couldn't be easier, and you can create Stamps.com accounts in minutes online with no equipment to lease and no long-term commitments. We've used Stamps.com since the beginning of this podcast because it saves time, hassle, and money.
Do you know how easy it was to get your computer to you in Maine? I mean, we just printed it and gave it to the mail and gone. It's there.
Really?
Yeah, nothing to it. Easy.
You mean the Pony computer that I use for the phones?
Yeah, the big Pony heavy computer hubcap weight
the
computer.
1970s. Was that a new computer you sent
me? That's a brand new computer.
Yeah, it was seen, Mike, in the movie War Games.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It's a monitor that was built in 1973 Czechoslovakia. Right now, sorry, this is a commercial.
It's not
right
on the
now.
copy.
Use the TMOS code for a special offer that includes up to $55 in free postage, a digital scale, and a 4-week trial. Don't wait. Go to Stamps.com, and before you do anything else, click on the radio microphone at the top of the homepage and type in TMOS. That's Stamps.com and enter TMOS. You'll wonder how you got along without it.
It's
now,
the best.
Before we talk about a great new show called Killing Eve, a lot of people are talking to me about it. I've slammed the show that my cousin is on, The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, that's awesome.
Aunt Lydia is there's not enough of her. First of all, she's wonderful in every scene she's in. But the show has been plotting, trying to
How
find
many
a direction.
episodes are you up to?
5 or 6.
Because
It's 5 or
I
6
know
that
there's
we're
going to be, I guess, 10 episodes this year, and I didn't want to renew Hulu until they were all up because I like to binge, and they're releasing them one at a time.
Okay, so I don't get the fascination. Like, I watched the first 2 episodes. I found it just, like, really dark.
Magically unpleasant.
Yeah, like I don't know, really uncomfortable.
Oh, I think it's
Does
just
it get
like
better?
Saved by the Bell. I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's okay. No.
But
no.
have you seen Zach Morris's trash?
Oh, it's so good.
On Facebook. This is my new favorite thing, and you brought up Saved by the Bell. A guy takes episodes of Saved by the Bell and narrates through the entire episode what a dick Zach Morris is. And he's like, there's an episode where he like hid drugs. There's one where he faked a car wreck. And it's like, and the thing that kills me is that in between, at the beginning and the end, there's a jingle. He goes, Zach Morris is trash. And it's just, he's such a dick. Anyway, if you see it on Facebook, click on it. You'll love it.
Well, Sarah, you're right. Sarah, I mean, it is so dark. It was dark last year. It was dark. It's
darker this year, right?
Oh God! All it is. You can't even see. It's terrible.
Because I think that was the first thing that put me off. The first time I tried to watch Breaking Bad when it was first on, it was too dark for me. I said, "This is horrible." But then when it got 3 or 4 seasons in, and people told me about how marvelous the plot and the journey was.
I don't know where it's going to end up, but it is the word is dystopian. That's the word that is used for these societies in the future. A very optimistic look at what our world will be like. But at least with last season, it was so new and it was so unlike anything else that had been on television.
Ah, okay.
And it was based on the book, and so it moved right along. This year, as a listener wrote to me, I think that they have come up against a wall because now that the content of the book, they've moved outside of that, it's difficult to keep it moving. And it is darker and slower and more depressing. And,
I understand their need to continue it because there is a craving and there's money to be made. But I would have thought it was so nice if they just ended it after one season.
But they can't do that. I mean,
that would have been. I know they can't, but that would have been. Genius.
It would have been very nice, but they can't do it.
The thing about it is, it's been so plotting, and she tries to escape. They catch her, they bring her back. I don't care if I'm ruining the plot for you, but did I just ruin the plot for you,
Mike? No. I think that I probably could have guessed that plot point.
Yeah, but
she tried to escape.
But at the very end of last night's episode, it wasn't last night's, but we watched it.
Right.
Whenever we watch it, and she says, she's talking to her baby, and she says, I'm not going to raise you here. You're not going to grow up here. And I said, okay, finally, a little direction, a little dialogue telling me, look, I watch my